Who's going to challenge Bart this year, and we are glad to have Linda with us. With the weather being like it was, I wasn't sure she'd go make it.
Did you guys get one of these? This is the state of the state. It's upside down. The state of the state from our federal government. This is Bart Stupak's Economic Recovery Report, which is an interesting title, right? Well, this is kind of funny. This is all I need 2 hands for. We went to see Avatar last week, and they gave us a poster. My congressman gave me a poster. It makes me very happy.
Fire him.
Anyway, I got a kick out of that. My kids did too. What's interesting about this Economic Recovery Report is it says that the federal government has created nearly 2,000 jobs in the 1st District. Now, I find that very hard to swallow because government creates nothing. Government redistributes jobs as they redistribute wealth without our consent. When, in the free market, if, the shoemaker can't sell his shoes, he starts to make wallets, and he starts to make belts or saddles. And that's how it's supposed to happen. My family has been in the restaurant business for years, and they don't have 2,000 employees, but they fulfill a legitimate need. They don't need a subsidy because people actually want hamburgers. When government creates jobs or even retains jobs, they are messing with the natural inclinations of buyers and sellers. They are prolonging obsolete services, obsolete systems. They're limiting consumer options. They are the problem.
Right back.
I think that's mine. Don't take my stuff. We got, I've never won an office before. This is my 3rd time running for office, but I have been an activist for 20 years. I've been looking for you guys for a long time, frankly. 20 years ago, I joined the Rutherford Institute, which is kind of like the antithesis of the ACLU. They do very, very fine legal research, but they're very pro-life, free market, and that was the beginning of my activism career. But I'm very green at campaigning, and I don't know what I am permitted to say.
How are you going to beat Stupak?
Well, I'm going to tell you about something that's going on in the UP that perhaps you folks haven't heard about. A friend of mine, his name is Matt Rondo, he's running for a state seat in one of the UP districts, did a little research when he got his Economic Recovery Report, which I think is a hysterical title. And he made some phone calls because our Economic Recovery Report tells where the jobs are that he's created. So Matt thought it was reasonable to make some phone calls and track down these jobs because he never saw them and neither did I. Here's what he found out. The Economic Recovery Report from Mr. Stupak. Can I say his name?
Dirty word.
You know, if you say Stupak backwards, it's kaputs. I am going to get in trouble, aren't I?
No.
Anyway, he says, Stupak, well, I'll say it's easier than the Economic Recovery Report. Stupak claims, in part, that he retained 610 K-12 public school jobs. So Matt called, and a friend of his name is Lewis, I've never met his friend, called Stupak's Marquette and Washington office, and they couldn't give the specific school districts where the jobs were retained. Well, maybe they didn't get their stimulus money yet from Obama, because now that we have Race to the Top, we have signed away Michigan education to the federal government. We are no longer permitted to evaluate our own performance. But it's not that bad because the feds haven't told us what performance is. They're still going to define it, but we signed on already. Anyway, there are no new jobs there. Stupak said he created 70 full-time jobs to perform road construction. Again, called the offices, no specifics about where they were hired. He said he created 150 jobs in Luce County Industrial Park in Newberry. That's where I live. The Luce County Industrial Park is basically a park. There's not a lot of industry in Newberry. There's not a lot of anything in Newberry anymore. A call to Newberry source was met by silence. No one in Newberry has ever heard of the 150 jobs. He said he created 210 jobs. Maybe, Jeff, you can answer this for me. He said he created 210 jobs with American Process Inc. of Alpena. Excuse me. Phone calls revealed that American Process Inc. doesn't exist in Alpena, or even within the state of Michigan. A web search found an American Process Inc. in Atlanta, Georgia. And when he called Georgia, they were very confused. He said he created 170 jobs in Marquette, Alger, Delta counties for broadband internet. Internet providers said there have been no hires for quite a while, et cetera, et cetera. How much do I have to do? You guys know what we're facing. But the thing that I like the best about my economic recovery report is, now we're going to get 2 years of unemployment benefits. Isn't that wonderful, since none of us can get jobs?
Yeah.
But you know what? It would get real boring sitting on your fanny for 2 years, wouldn't it? But he's fixed the TV and the UP now so we can all have better television. Our country is too important. Our children are too important to permit this to go on. I need a whole staff just up here. You ought to see my office. The state of the state is horrible. We know that. That's why we're here. The state of the country is scary. Mm-hmm. And it's because we have abandoned the Constitution. You know, when I went to law school, they didn't teach me the Constitution. You can read it in a short time. They taught me how to circumvent the Constitution. That's not okay. It says some very basic things. The Second Amendment, for instance. My husband got a concealed carry permit this week, and he's real excited. I was ticked. Not about the... That doesn't sound right, does it? Okay, I was not mad at my husband. I was mad at my government. My husband was on board ship off the coast of Beirut when they bombed the military barrack, the Marine barracks over there. He was trained by the U.S. Marine Corps. He's a corrections officer. He carries a sidearm at work, and he has a little permit that says he can. He gets trained a couple times a year at work. But to get his concealed carry permit, to exercise his fundamental right, he had to take another course. He had to pay for it. My 12-year-old took the course too, right? He asked the teacher, "What's this slug made out of?" The guy said, "I don't know." So Joshua, my son, took it, scraped it on the table. He said, "It's lead," handed it back. You know, these people know how to use guns. Not only that, they are permitted to. I've spoken long enough. I don't like listening to political speeches. I just want you folks to know that my heart is to support the Constitution, to shrink government tremendously.
Amen.
Yeah.
And well, I've never been a politician. I've never been much of a liar either. But I suppose maybe they teach you how when you get in. I don't know. Thank you very much.